Today is March 1st, 2024. Got a little too detailed. Alright, on the other one, so I'm going to have to, not send it up. But today I had a few people harass me. Okay? A few people. A lot of people quit when I started uploading on Facebook and then in the YouTubes that strippers and prostitutes have AIDS and STD, HIV, and that how fast you die. And that it's a death sentence. Okay? Well, the strippers stopped showing up, and only like one or two people show up and harass me for them. Okay? It's got a lot better. Alright. I got my hair done at Walmart 62. The girl that was doing my hair, she said that when her and her boyfriend broke up, she went on online dating. She was talking to this one guy, and he wanted to be with her. Well, he said, well, we can't go out tonight. I'm a little embarrassed. I want to see you go to the bars. And she's like, why would you be embarrassed? You're saying you're going to the bars. Well, it's going to be a strip club. She's like, oh, you're going to a strip club. She said, I asked him flat out, you don't have AIDS or HIV, do you? He said, well, actually he has HIV and he has to be on medication, but it's controlled. She said, you were going to have sex with me and you have HIV. You could have gave me AIDS. And then he turns around on her and he starts screaming at her. She said he could have killed me. Exactly. So where did he get it? Well, let's see. Strippers. I've talked to guys online. When they go to strip clubs, they drop $200 or $300 just on a basic night. Now, and that they do oral sex on these men. Okay? Have their mouths all over things. And so they're with 10, 20 men per night. And then they took 50 days off a year. We're talking 30,000 men they've been with in a year. That's where most people, until now, would look at strippers and prostitutes as like lepers because they're walking death traps. They have AIDS. Okay? And yeah, that guy from the strip club got it. So the local strip club has AIDS and HIV. I'm sure they have the other venereal diseases. They have the private back rooms where they don't tape anywhere. And I heard they have flat out sex back there. They're outskirting the law of prostitution. Okay? So where do anybody that's went out with one of these strippers or prostitutes, like they said, the men that were helping out these strippers were having sex with them and were so they'd hurt me or harass me. And they realized they could have AIDS. Some teenagers showed up in Walmart 62 the other morning. They said, we don't ever want to hear anything from these men complaining. They knew if you go out with strippers or prostitutes, you get AIDS. We even know that. Our teachers even told us. That's how those strippers and prostitutes have been manipulating these men to hurt her and harass her, is by having sex with them. And they'll show up and hurt her. They knew they could get AIDS. And our teachers have talked to us about it. See, they sold the login. I've been in a school discussion in several times of all this bad stuff happening because that agent didn't help me. And teenagers talk about it because they all know they sold the login. So, yeah, most local strip clubs have AIDS and HIV. You go to one of them touches you. There's a good chance you're going to have it. Think about it. 10, 20 guys a night. There are at least 300 days a year. 30,000 or more. Maybe double. Men. See, that's where strippers and prostitutes don't plan on getting old. They live a wild lifestyle. They get messed up in drugs to numb the pain. Once you get AIDS, you don't live 10 years. You won't have a sign of it. Get a sign of it, you only live within a few years. And everybody you're with unprotected sex, you will kill them It used to be considered an attempt to murder. You didn't tell somebody you had AIDS or HIV and you had sex with them, it's attempt to murder. And you go to jail for it, they find out. Because you know you're purposely killing that person you're having sex with. So the local strip clubs has AIDS in it. Of course they do. Like the teenage kids, we don't ever want to hear those men complain that they got AIDS from those strippers. We all know you get AIDS from strippers and prostitutes. They all carry it. Okay? Now, I'd like to know, as a victim, where did people think it was funny I was being drug beat and raped? And it was by a drug cartel. As a victim, that prostitutes were having men harm me. Where did you think it was funny that they crushed my skull in? And it feels like a pulp being hammered and I still have it out. Where did you think it was funny I was being raped and tortured? Where did you think it was funny I almost got shot driving? Where did you think it was funny people got taken around me and killed around me? Where did you think, as I always say as Christians, where would you find that funny or acceptable? That a 60-year-old man is dating a lot of different women, including strippers, on his wife that loves him to death for 33 years, and is living this wild lifestyle and putting his whole family at risk, bringing those diseases around him. I'm lucky for where that Alex was raping me. I only got a really bad infection that I go on pills and creams. He was letting men rape me under drugs and drug me up in my sleep or spike my drink when I was out of the room and I never seen anybody till after the FBI. So, where do you think it's funny? Where do you think it's funny human trafficking victims in front of you? Raping somebody had nothing to do with nothing, and they're just picking out people to harm. You know, some kids walked in where my phone's tapped, and I'm sitting there talking about how that agent admitted he talked to everybody on a recorded line, and how he bullied me. My mouth is dropping open. I said, you do realize he probably told 500 to 700 people. I called FBI before he talked to me. He admitted he met with the churches at Apostolic Church of Barberton. There was at least 300 people that night. And he told them he knew I was being drug beat and raped, and he said he didn't care. Investigators went up there and said, none of this is funny. He did tell those people that. And he tried to blame strangers' lie of faking you were sick. And it was a medication error. Using that as an excuse. Yeah. And we all know they made fun of FBI agent John for falling for their stone tapes before they knew it was Photoshop. Photoshopping or washing or using a feminine wipey above the toilet in another room. They've admitted to both. They've admitted where they drugged me up and told me to say stuff, and I was talking to that girl about people sleepwalking with roofies, and now they're sheriffs all this area. I already know that. Want to know what's wrong with our local police. They've known it for years, and you can Photoshop everything from words to sentences. Nothing's trustworthy. Nobody had to write your home. They can't even look at it by law. Okay? Some teenagers walked in and they said not to say a word to her. Those people admitted to drugging her up and telling her to say stuff. They also admitted to photoshopping a washing scene that made fun of FBI agent John for falling for it. I don't believe he fell for it. You know, you got to think I was the perfect victim. I like Officer Mark off in the distance outside Kohl's. He said, first of the case, we found out her ex-husband was having her drugged up so bad. She was being drug beat and raped, didn't know what was happening to her. And it was supposed to be some retired judge in the drug cartel, and they wanted his drug connections. Told us to stay out while they got it. Found out it's just some guy saying he's a judge. Okay? It's Alex, the white-haired guy with his hair part inside, medium gray human traffickers from Florida. Michelle's his stripper girlfriend. See, people have laughed. Even Agent Will knew she was a stripper. Of course he did. Because you Google retired Judge Pete, he'd be 75, 80 plus. He wouldn't have an 18-year-old daughter. He'd have an 18-year-old great-granddaughter. That prostitute walking in there with her brother in a Santa beard and some man impersonating Altman Hospital selling information. Talk about a circus show. Then you really can't feel sorry for the Vegas. They're drama queens. I mean, that's where it's the psychopaths, where you're the born serial killers. You don't feel sympathy, empathy, or remorse. You only feel happy and excitement. They said it's genetic. Okay? Her father, in the middle of me getting well after 2.5 years of surgery, a year of false diagnosis, wrong medication, with them wanting to do unnecessary procedures, and it actually took another doctor to tell them that it was that making me sick, and they were lying, ripping off my insurance. And it took me a year, almost, no, well, 9 months to learn to walk again, and the swelling to go down, and everything start working again. They almost killed me. Okay, in the middle of that family, her father is speeding with their grandson, with his grandson in the car. You know better than to do that. Going so fast in front of the church people, he's the lead car, showing off, making them laugh and giggle. He blows through a stop sign, don't even bother to stop, right into a semi. Kills them both. It's their father's fault. That's part of that psychopath. They don't care. Okay? And that's where, I'm almost well by April. That kid gets killed in that traffic accident. My whole family's at home. And me. And I'm almost well, and it takes me 2 more months to get all the way well. And then 4 months later after that, which is 6 months after the traffic accident I had nothing to do with, that minister thought I caught his son in adultery and said, oh, you're vacant through 4 years. And discredits me and gets rid of me because he thought I caught his son in adultery. Well, they've been getting gifts, people planting trees, taking food for 6 months. The first week or two is appropriate. You do more than that, it becomes sick. And when it comes into months, it's really sick. And these people are millionaires. They didn't need their food. All right? But people worshiped them because they were rich. And they were lapping up all the attention. Well, in the middle, 6 months later, now it's 6 months later, have nothing to do with nothing. And they make up that they want to kill me. Well, it took away from their attention. And it pissed them off. They were getting all the attention. And somebody insulted her, and it took it away from us. We're going to kill her for that. It's psychopath stuff. They wait 15 years to hunt me down and kill me. Think about that. You can't look at them but serial killers. Because why would they care anybody said anything about me? Had nothing to do with their father killing their kid. Exactly. Now, we're going to put it this way. And they said it's genetic. And it shows on PET scans where your brain lights up. Their part of the brain don't feel sympathy, empathy, or remorse. That's why they were willing to hire people to drug me and rape me. And have me almost murdered. Because they can't feel sorry for their victim. And for what reason? Somebody took their sympathy and their little pity party away from them 6 months later. Where they were giving them, they wanted to put plaques outside their house. They planted a tree. They were giving them all kinds of gifts. 6 months later, they're still doing it and wanting to do more. It got to the point they even said that it's like they worship them. It was. And it took away from them getting the center of the attention. 6 months later, somebody says something shitty about me, has nothing to do with them. And they want to hunt me down 15 years later and kill me. Like I said, they took all their pain and just put it on me and wanted someone to kill. They made up a reason. Now, that agent would know that. And it's a medication error that made me sick in medical malpractice. These people impersonated a doctor from Altman Hospital selling my information. Due to HIPAA violations attached to their license, they even talked to anybody without your written consent. It is a 10-year sentence and a $250,000 fine, and otherwise impersonating a doctor is 1 to 10. And they were impersonating a doctor. I would own Altman Hospital. I would be a multimillionaire. Medical malpractice attorneys work for free. And this is a slam dunk. You say you sold my information. You were talking about my medical history with these people. You go to jail, and I can sue the hell out of you. Like December 30th, 23. Altman Hospital. And I'm in the emergency room with a client. And the nurses are out there talking. No one's to talk to these people. The hospital said they could get sued. And these people, they found out that they were impersonating a doctor from Altman Hospital selling information. Nobody should talk to them, okay? And no one is to ever back those doctors before, my God, they were lying so bad that she had brain tumors and there's nothing wrong with her. And it was a medication making her sick. Nobody's to ever back somebody ripping somebody's off insurance and giving them medication errors making them sick. Officers walked by, all those doctors were lying. He said, yes. He said, it was medication errors and medication errors that made her sick before. It's documented medication errors and documented medical malpractice. So no doctor can talk to anybody. That's where they even said December or January 9th, 24, in Belden by case. And lady investigators, what was that agent thinking? No doctor of hers could ever talk to him. And then we looked it up and it was just some guy impersonating him. Just like he knew that wasn't Pete. You Google Pete and his name, it comes up with a 75, 80-year-old man. And he don't have an 18-year-old daughter. He knew, like I said, Will even knew it was a stripper sitting in front of him. He knew it was her brother or family member with a beer, too. It's the biggest sideshow in the world. He should have arrested him the first day. And he told Apostolic, where I called the hotline, and I have them nailed. 4 attempts on my life, 2 documented by the Perry police, 2 witnesses of the other one, and 2 witnesses of them impersonating me, costing me a job. And 3 witnesses in the mall of them saying it was them trying to kill me. I had them nailed. They drug me out so bad I can't get out of bed for a few days. The 3rd day I get up and I'm holding my head, what's wrong with me? And I gotta get enough air. I gotta call that guy back where he left a voicemail. And I finally get enough air. I call one of my witnesses, and they said, yeah, of course, I will witness for you. So I go out and get a card, put that agent's number in it, go out, down, drop it off, go up to Apostolic Church of Harvard. And Paul Paymer got in Dave's face. My God, I had an FBI agent in my office. He's right there. I walk off. Women walk up. He knows she's being drugged, being raped. He said he didn't care. I had bruises all over me, throwing up, heart racing, and severely infected, documented by all my family physicians for all the signs of being drugged, being raped. I never talked to anybody, and I kept telling them, I don't know what's wrong with me. Did you fall? No. I don't even know where those marks came from. Maybe you're coming in, we'll get you iron pills, and my muscles are killing me, we'll get you some muscle relaxers. I said, my head's hurting, and I've been throwing up, and almost passed out even from the neighbor. We'll get you some stuff for that, too. And I said, my personal area is so swollen. I know we went from regular water to well water. Is it eating my skin? I can't even hardly pee. Here I've been drug being raped. And they're drugging me up and telling me say stuff, photoshopping washing scenes and a big sextortion act from the drug cartel. Okay? I walk up, and I literally, when they said, he knows she's being drugged, being raped, my stomach fell into my heart fell into my stomach. Is that what's going on? I go in and sit down. Come in, they say it again, and said if she's going to be faking she was sick and faking she got well, that family was grieving 15 years before, and it was a minister's lie, and it was medication errors, and I had nothing to do with that death, and it was 6 months later he made up a shitty lie. It was just a shitty lie. He said he didn't care what they did to her, and he was going to turn her back over to him. Can you imagine an agent saying that? Dave comes in, let's go. Oh, investigators up in Akron showed up. Nobody say a word. We went up there and asked him. People up in Akron. We went over that church and asked him. He told all those people he knew she was being drugged, being raped, and didn't care. None of this is funny. There was a lady in Hartville in August last year. Said we found out that agent knew she was being drugged, being raped, and he didn't arrest her. Okay. All right. Dave comes in, let's go. We get out in the truck. He's punching me in the truck. When I got home, I ran from the next day. I called that agent. I tell him someone told me. He's like, you liar. It's verified by the police it was him. I tell him about the guy that threatened to knife me at Giant Eagle. He's like, you liar. I said he tried to kidnap me before. He's like, you liar. I almost went to say Terry seen him. She let me tape her with her permission. Okay? He's like, oh, come on. I already know what's going on. You were faking you were sick and faking you got well before, and that's why they're trying to kill you. And I can't blame them. I'm like, what? He's like, even if a church person seen them trying to kidnap you, he said they wouldn't even witness for you. Well, yeah, she did. That's why I didn't tell him about Terry, because he's yelling at me like that. And he said, was there a camera above the bench? I don't know. You either say you're lying or I'll put you in jail. I'm like, what? He said, you either say it or I'll arrest you. I'm like, fine, whatever. And he starts laughing at me. He said, now I want you to say you were faking you were sick before. I said, I really was sick. It's documented medication errors, documented medical malpractice. I said, I really was sick before. He's like, you liar. I've had that family in my office that I had nothing to do with the kids' death, that are just killing people because they want to hurt people because they're evil. Those people. And I've spoke to all those church people. He said, and that's why they're trying to kill you, and I can't blame them. And you need to realize what you've done. We're on a recorded line. They sold it. Like they said, the FBI made fun of her for being drug beat and raped. And because they were using amnesia drugs, she didn't know what was happening to her. They need to take care of those idiots. Okay? He's like, and I said, I really was sick before. He said, you either say it or I'll leave you there. I said, they're going to try to kill me, so. I said, they've tried to kill me, so. Now you either say it or I'll leave you there. I said, please don't let them kill me. Then say it or I'll leave you there. It's like, fine, whatever. Ah. Okay. Why would the FBI help a person like you? I said, they're going to try to kill me, so. They've tried to kill me, so. Give me a real reason. Then the other agent yells out, well, we could use Pete's tape of weird with yourself, the shower scene or the feminine YB, that they already admitted they photoshopped everything. Made fun of the FBI agent John, June 7th, 23, Walmart 62, sold videos of it, like the Stark County Sheriff and Faith Family Church. We all know they made fun of that FBI agent John for falling for their stunt. Said he's got a weird last name. I want to talk to him. Well, he knows he can't talk to me that way. Get him, Sheriff. Right? And I said, what is he talking about? I don't even know who Pete is. And here it's Alex impersonating Pete. I never seen anybody before the FBI. I would wake up like that, or I'd get sick and dizzy on Diet Coke, had a 2-liter, and the room would get dizzy and hours would pass and I'd wake up with more marks. And I thought, where on earth did I bang myself? And I almost thought the well water was, if they would have never said a word, I blamed the toxic well water. It had iron bacteria and iron gas, and it burned your skin if you washed your hands in it, just even after you use the bathroom. Okay? I thought it was the well water. I didn't know anything. And I thought that's what was making my personal area infected by just washing it. And I was afraid it was giving me cancer, where I was getting bruises I couldn't explain, or if that idiot was beating on me in my sleep while I was waking up. Because he actually did do it after the case started. You know what I mean? But I was waking up with bruises when he wasn't home. And I'd get dizzy during the day. I'd go out and work in the backyard, come in, wash my hands, make something, eat and drink, and I'd go in and use the bathroom, wash my hands better, sit down, take a drink in the room, and get dizzy, and I'd be out for hours. It's like, whoa, I must have worked too hard. I'm so sick and running the bathroom. Where did I get these marks? And here they were sneaking in and lacing my drink. Okay. So I wouldn't know what was happening to me, or I'd wake up with marks that look like injection marks. The drug cartel is running a big drug scam on me. Okay? So we're gonna go forward. He yells out something about Pete again. Now, I don't know who he is. I've never talked to him. And here it's some guy named Alex, that stripper's brother impersonating a retired judge. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I've never talked to him. He's laughing at me. Stops. You don't know. I bet if you're going to say you don't know about him, you're going to say you don't know about this doctor, da da da. I said, I don't know what you're talking about. It's a man impersonating a doctor. And he's laughing at me. Well, I had some other lady steal my insurance bill right after Dave and I first got married. And Midwest Rubber was actually saying stuff to Dave that he knew they were letting some other lady use my insurance, and was good. We ended up getting stuck with the bills, and he kept denying it. Oh, she stole it, and they're lying here, and da da da. It was probably one of his old girlfriends, and because you just had to call in your information of show ID. I thought maybe it was her bills, because we got stuck with quite a few. My brother knew about it. It was on the union committee. Okay? All right. So I'm like, what are you talking about? These laughing stocks, you don't know. Give me a real reason. Well, I told him about my brother-in-law, Craig, that died working at the Pentagon under Dick Cheney. Okay? He said, well, I can take you somewhere and leave you. Okay? I don't have money to start. He's like, well, if you agree to get information on Dave in the churches, I can open an informant program. Okay? I said, I can do that. I thought they've already got him nailed. It won't last a few weeks. He said it comes with $5,000 a month. I'm opening an account today. Nothing legally stated, dated against you again, and only for you and only for you. What do we ever do this for? We'll always put it back as if it never happened. You can't be legally charged for anything again for working this case, and you'll have that money to live on when you move out, or even when you tell. But if you try to tell somebody, unless you're crazy and no one can help you, he already admitted he had the church talk to the church people. He had already told 500 to 700 people. He already admitted to having that family in, and with the thing with Pete, Dave told Danny he hired Pete on his own, and Pete's actually just that stripper's brother. He's a serial rapist. And the other guy's just a drug dealer. Punking the FBI. He admitted he talked to everyone. I've talked to criminal attorneys, police departments, and someone from the Stark County Prosecutor's Office that used to work there. That agent doesn't have enough authority to ask you to stay quiet. He's only a higher police officer. It takes a sitting judge and is sequestered a grand jury due to the freedom of speech. They cannot withhold your money or misdirect it. 14th Amendment, no money or assets will be withheld or misdirected except for under due process of the law. You have to be found guilty and sued for it. You cannot withhold protection, 14th Amendment. You cannot be in somebody's house, the 4th Amendment, except for protected life cases with statements. Even the police departments, criminal attorney, Dave can't hire Pete on his own. He can't hire anybody. Nobody had right in your home, and it is protected custody cases with statements only. And the prosecutor's office is a big fraud scheme. It's a sextortion scheme, actually. Okay? Let's see. Then the freedom of speech, it takes a sitting judge to put a gag order in you. He's only a higher officer. He don't have that kind of authority. He's been bullshitting people to get away with this. But like that girl at Walmart, that one guy that goes to strip club, he's got HIV. Far enough, he has to be on medication. And he's going to the strip club, so everyone that's doing oral sex on him has HIV. Where'd he get it? He got it from the strippers that are having sex with 30,000 men a year. They're prostituting in the private rooms and then doing other sex acts in front of people. Yeah, I've heard about those from guys, how nasty they are. See, that's where those strippers, all those men that are going there, yeah, like they said, they're all upset. And teenagers are like, we even know that if you go out with a stripper or prostitute, you're gonna get AIDS. They're in the strip clubs, HIV and AIDS. So where you think it's funny if you're going out with them, it's a death sentence. And you die a horrible death. A horrible death when you die of AIDS. A horrible death. It's nothing to laugh at. I'm going to upload